Mike's Daily Podcast.
Episode 1271. My name is Mike Matthews. Welcome to Mike's Daily Podcast. If this is your first... Oh, hold on. I'm getting a call. Hello. Oh, thank you. I'll refresh. Talk to you later. Well, sometimes I get interrupted during my show.
Mike's Daily Podcast.
But I'm not gonna go nuclear. No, that's not what we do.
Mike's Daily Podcast.
On today's show, we're going to hear from Chely Shoehart, Floyd the Floorman, and John Deere the engineer, and bring you this wonderful segment so dear to my heart called the Whiny White Man Wine List. And then you and I will kiss. Wasn't that nice? Okay, that was a little weird.
Mike's Daily Podcast.
But nice and weird together is a wonderful combination, isn't it? Yes.
Mike's
Why say no when you can say yes?
Podcast.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, or yeah. That's another good one. I had an interesting day yesterday. I saw my CPA. She's lovely. She makes me so happy when I see her, even though I have to deal with taxes, and taxes is such an awful, evil thing. When I see her, she makes me happy, and that's a good thing.
Even businessmen that rob and steal and cheat from people every day, even they have to pay taxes.
Another good thing that happened yesterday was I went to bed at 7. Yes, 7, because I am 70 years old. No, I'm not. I'm 48, and I found out someone else that I know that I thought was older than me is also 48, which made me feel like... That made me feel my age, basically. But then I talked to a 70-year-old who's like a raging conservative and a huge Trump supporter. And then that put it all in perspective. I said, I am not that old. I'm not that bitter and curmudgeonly yet. I'm a little curmudgeonly. I'm pre-curmudgeonly. But I'm not curmudgeon. I'm not there. So hopefully I'll never get there. But it is interesting, the difference in the ages. And look who just walked in. And as I spoke with my millennial friend, I said to my millennial friend, millennial friend, someday that Gen Zer that's coming up behind you is going to say something to you, and it's going to make about as much sense as what you say to me sometimes. With your Pokemons and your computer games that I have no idea what you're talking about. Actually, you know what?
Pikachu!
I know a lot of Gen Xers that are into computer games. I never got into it. I don't get it. I don't spend my time with that. I'd rather be outside, enjoying the fresh air, or being inside of a radio station, clearing my throat. Hey, I just got a... Uh-oh. Oh, now I'm finding out the show that I do at 7 might be canceled. Where's my crazy dramatic sound effect for that? Look at just walked in. Okay. Wow, somebody else walked in. So who is all here?
Hello, Mike Matthews and Chely Shoehart, get a job supervisor. I don't understand millennials.
Millennials, that's not you anymore, is it, Chely?
No, Mike Matthews, I've moved on. I've become a woman. And I'm protesting Trump.
Okay, even though he picked... he picked the Supreme Court nominee, Gorsuch. And I heard several commentators on my wonderful podcast that I listen to called To The Point, discussing how Trump's Gorsuch is sort of like Obama's Garland. Because Gorsuch and Garland were both moderates. Gorsuch is a conservative, yes, but he is definitely not extreme. And this was verified by a Slate court commentator, Supreme Court. All he does is report on the Supreme Court. And this is Slate, which is extremely left-wing, extremely liberal. And he was saying, no. Gorsuch is totally not crazy nuclear extreme. But the Democrats may want to exercise, they may want to filibuster this because it's tit for tat. It's revenge for the fact that even though Obama had the opportunity, and he did take advantage of the opportunity to replace Scalia when he passed away, the Republicans said, no, we're not going to do hearings. No, because the Republicans controlled the Senate at the time, and they couldn't, and they still do. But it's all about revenge.
Revenge is a dish best served cold. You think about that.
Yeah. But this is what Lindsey Graham, a conservative, a Republican, said about the possibility of, the whole nuclear option is that the Democrats could filibuster and make it so that I want to say Garland, but it's Gorsuch. They both had G's. That's weird. Trump had the Gorsuch, Obama the Garland. Anyway, Café Anyway. What it comes down to is the Republicans could filibuster this, and if they filibuster this, Mitch McConnell, the leader of the Senate, could say, no.
And here's today's podcast picture.
Here's today's podcast picture is what he could say, which is, speaking of nuclear, it was a beautiful sort of a supernova-y sunset that I saw yesterday at Fairmont Ridge as I was walking Basil the Boxer. And you can see a picture of that big sort of the sun going supernova, going nuclear in the sky there, overlooking the Bay Area. And my podcast picture at mikesdailypodcast.com, where you can go to support the show. If you're going to buy anything on Amazon, go through that Amazon link at mikesdailypodcast.com, and that helps us out. There's also what is that other thing? The PayPal. That's right, and you'll get a special greeting from all the Café Anyway characters, including these two that walked in I have not acknowledged yet. Hello, Mike, this is Floyd the Floorman! And this is John Deere, the engineer. Mike, we have to do whatever it takes to stop Trump from having anybody put into the Supreme Court. Mm-hmm. But you can't do that. He is president now. That's the thing he does, is he puts people into the Supreme Court. And the Democrats, unfortunately, are in the minority now. They don't control the House. They don't control the Senate. So there's no way that you might as well let this one go, is what I'm saying. And I know that goes against what a lot of Democrats feel. But realize that there are liable to be in the next 4 years at least 2 other justices that give up the Supreme Court. And he's going to have to fill those positions. And he's going to go way more conservative with those 2. You know it. So the Democrats might as well save the battle for another day on this one. Wait and prepare themselves and get frickin' into the Senate. Take more seats in the Senate. Take more seats in the House the next election cycle. But Lindsey Graham, a Republican and conservative, said this.
It'd be sad to me if we have to go that route with a man like this, but he's going to get confirmed. I've took a lot of crap voting for Obama's judges. I thought they were qualified. I've tried to be fair to everybody. It's the best I know how to be. I didn't think Garland should have been picked in the last year of Obama's term after we'd started the primary process. This president won. He deserves the right to pick qualified people, and this is one of the most qualified people I've ever met.
Oh, well, I've ever met. And he's right and he's wrong in that, but Obama should have picked someone. That was his response. If he had not picked anyone, can you imagine? And I guess if the Democrats don't fight this, can you imagine? This is what Pelosi's already saying about Gorsuch.
In his first appointment to the court, and hopefully his only appointment to the court, has appointed someone who has come down on the side of corporate America versus class action suits on securities fraud. He's come down against employees' rights. Clean air, clean water, food safety in medicine, and the rest. If you care about that for your children, he's not your guy.
Well, we'll circle back around to this. Don't you love that little corporate America, modern corporate America slang used way too much, cliche? I'm going to circle back around. Hey, I'll circle back around to you later. hate that expression. Anyway, we're going to circle back around that in a moment, what Trump had to say about going nuclear. And then, but that Trump did introduce someone yesterday.
You bring the unique skills and deep insights, and I've gotten to see it firsthand.
Thank you.
Into foreign diplomacy.
Thank you. That what?
Our nation needs.
I don't know. Don't go outside of the
foster stability and security in a world too often trapped. And right now it's trapped.
It is? In what?
In violence and in war.
Oh, war! I'm at war right now with you, Floyd. Why? Because your hair is so big and I have none. Oh, sorry. Oh, okay, we're not at war anymore. But then it's Rex Tillerson becoming the Secretary of State, and he had this to say.
But I've also received an enormous outpouring of wonderful messages from people all over the country whom I do not know. Words of encouragement and their prayers. And it's their messages that are going to really stand in steadfast reminder to me as I enter the responsibilities of Secretary of State, that as I serve this president, I serve their interest and will always represent the interest of all of the American people at all times. And again, Mr. President, thank you for this extraordinary opportunity.
And he is a white man. Oh, we should get to the segment, the whiny white man list. Let's do that now.
Wine.
Well, I like it.
The whiny white man wine list.
Mike, it's Mikey Fikey. Right.
We have not done this in a while, the whiny white man wine list. I would go down this list of things that the Republicans are whining about and just laugh, because how can Republicans whine anymore when they run everything? They still, like the 70-year-old guy that was whining to me yesterday about Democrats. Oh, the Democrats are doing it. And the thing I can't stand about that 70-year-old that I was talking, he talks so slow and uses every other word. Well, I think, it's like, oh, please. I was just talking to but the CPA that I know, that I was introducing the show and telling you how lovely she is. She talks super fast, and I love that. And she goes, oh, because we were talking about Alabama. And because she went and visited Birmingham, and I said, they talk slow in Alabama, which is fine, but it can drive someone from California or some other state where you talk quickly, it can drive you nuts. And she goes, oh, well, I'd like to move to Alabama. And I say, you go crazy because you talk so fast. She goes, no, I kind of liked it. Well, whiny white men. So Trump, this is interesting because Black History Month is this month. You are in it now. Happy Black History Month. Trump was at a Black History Month meeting yesterday, and he was trying to talk Trump in his Trump way about Black History Month and about Martin Luther King Jr., about MLK, and he ends up becoming a whiny white man. Watch.
Last month we celebrated.
I mean, listen. I stayed up all night recording these off of YouTube. Okay, watch.
Last month we celebrated the life of the Reverend Martin Luther King Jr., whose incredible example is unique in American history. You read all about Dr. Martin Luther King a week ago when somebody said I took the statue out of my office.
Wine.
It turned out that was fake news.
Wine.
Fake news. The statue is cherished. It's one of the favorite things and we have some good ones. We have Lincoln, and we have Jefferson, and we have Dr. Martin Luther King, and we have, but they said the statue, the bust of Dr. Martin Luther King was taken out of the office, and it was never even touched. So I think it was a disgrace, but that's the way the press is. Very unfortunate.
No, Trump, continue, please. Go on. Go on about how you hate the press. Go on. Wasn't it for the press, you'd be nothing. You'd be nothing. So Trump told the Senate, I know the show has a lot to do with Trump today. That's how it is today. But he told the Senate yesterday to go nuclear and eliminate Democratic filibuster rights, which in turn will limit their own filibuster rights when the Democrats eventually take over the Senate. if that's what it takes to confirm Supreme Court nominee Neil Gorsuch, I would say it's up to Mitch, but I would say go for it, he told reporters, who he hates with a vengeance. And vengeance is the best, my friend.
Revenge is a dish best served cold. You think about that.
Trump responded to a question about the so-called nuclear option against filibusters while meeting with political activists who are campaigning for Gorsuch's nominee confirmation. Trump, who made a similar suggestion last week before his Supreme Court pick was even known, and he could have picked someone way more conservative, way more extreme, but he went with Gorsuch, and he nominated Gorsuch on Tuesday to fill the vacancy created last year by the death of Justice Antonin Scalia, who talked a lot like this, kind of like you, John Deere the engineer. I don't sound like that, Mike. Oh, I'm sorry. McConnell has indicated that at this point, he would keep current rules that would require Republicans to rack up 60 votes to break a Democratic filibuster of Gorsuch. Republicans control 52 of the Senate's 100 seats, but Trump aides and GOP senators who attended Tuesday's nomination ceremony said they are confident that at least 8 Democrats will oppose a filibuster and even decide to vote for Gorsuch. And that's probably why Trump picked Gorsuch. But Trump didn't sound so sure. According to USA Today, quote, if we end up with that gridlock, I would say, if you can, Mitch, go nuclear, Mitch McConnell, because that would be an absolute shame if a man of this quality was put up to that neglect. Chuck Schumer, Democrat of New York, the Senate's top Democrat, said the nuclear option is a false choice. He said, quote, if this nominee cannot meet the same standard that Republicans insisted upon for President Obama's Supreme Court nominees, 60 votes in the Senate, then the problem lies not with the Senate, but with the nominee. Trump's guests at the White House included a variety of conservative political organizations that have pledged to campaign for Gorsuch's confirmation. They've already spent a bunch of money in states like Iowa, Indiana, about this, because that's what they do, is spend money. I'd like to be the recipient of that money. Go ahead, advertise on my podcast. We take all donations because we're sluts. A group ranging from the National Rifle Association to Americans for Tax Reform. Groups are planning ads in states that have Democratic senators, but which Trump won during last year's election. The NRA executive vice president said, we're going to do everything in our power to help him win confirmation. Grover Norquist, remember him? President of Americans for Tax Reform, said he's glad Trump picked the justice who read the Constitution and takes it seriously. He's an originalist, very much the letter of what was meant by every word of the Constitution when it was written 3,000 years ago. What? That's not how long ago it was? I need to read a history book? Shut up! As we go outside of Café Anyway, we're bringing Mike's Daily Podcast somewhere in Podcaster Valley. Well, I had so many other things to discuss on my list, on my whiny white man wine list, because I am also a white man, and I tend to whine. But one of the things was, I wrote this down. Oh! May I please say this? And I'm going to have to bleep myself. I was reading through my notes this morning before I started the podcast. And, where is it? This would be a good time for a funny drop of some sort.
Take off, you posers.
Thank you, Geddy Lee from Canada. I need to go to Canada. I think I've been to Vancouver. I've never been to Canada. I want to go to Canada. Oh, so much. I don't want to live there, but okay. Here is my thing I'm going to bleep the crap out of. Here we go. You ready? And wasn't it fun to hear Lindsey Graham say the word crap earlier in the show? Okay, here it is. Holy shit is a dumb f***. I'm just hopefully that bleeped everything. Yes. Okay. I bleeped out the guy's name too because I don't want this. I don't even think he listens. I don't think he knows how to listen to this show because I think he's completely technologically Can't do it. He can't do technology worth a dang. But there's this guy who does a show on an internet radio station that I am on. He does a syndicated, and I'm throwing air quotes all over the place, all over you right now. He does a syndicated old-time country radio show. So he has been a DJ for a gazillion years, and he met all the legends and the not-so-legends. Kind of like what I did in the 90s with country music, but he did like in the 50s and the 60s and the 70s. And he's one of these people that likes only old music and can't stomach anything new, because it's all about, that was when all the great music was done, when old long time ago. I can't stand that line of thinking. Anyway, Café Anyway, anyway, I said to him, he gave me a compliment one day when I was doing my internet radio show, and he gave me a compliment, and I said, hey, since you do the show right after mine, why don't you promote your show on my show? And so he sent me a quick little 1-minute promo for his show, and I played it back on my show. It was perfect. Well, then all of a sudden the next week, the promo he sends me is like 5 minutes long. And I just nicely wrote him back, hey, do you think you can make those promos a little bit shorter, like under 2 minutes? He sends me another one that long. I'm like, what the heck? And he's going on and on about, I met Jerry Lee Lewis and Charlie Pride and Johnny Cash, Beryl Haggard, and you know what? And you know, and doing as many ums as the 70-year-old guy I know, just umming it up. So I didn't even play his promo last week, and he wants me to pull it off of an FTP drive that he uses, some kind of FTP software. So I download it, put it on my laptop. Well, it screws up my laptop. I wrote him back and I said, you know what? Can you just email me a shorter promo that I can play on the show? Your FTP thing, I tried putting it on my laptop. It messed up my laptop. So just send me the MP3. And he goes, what? Now, I don't even know what you're talking about, Mike. I mean, really. This FTP thing never broke down for anyone. I have the best software ever. Now, when you download my show for your radio station, blah, 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 blah. First off, it's not my radio station. This internet radio station I only do on the weekends. I'm not paid for it. I don't get anything for it. I just do it on the weekends. I don't control his show. I don't do anything. And he's going on and on about stuff. I don't know what he's talking about, so I don't even respond. And I'm like, that's radio. Even in the world of internet radio, you still get these humongous egos, and I do not get it. Next show, we're going to have the wonderful Benita, the Disgruntled Fiddle Player, and the Brewmaster. Have a wonderful day, and I certainly hope we don't go nuclear. We must be smarter than that. Hey, but meanwhile, go listen to that awesome Ryan Adams song called Nuclear. It's great. I went a little nuclear at the end of the show, didn't I? Sorry.
Mike's Daily Podcast is written and produced and performed by Mike Matthews. His podcast is super easy to find. Download or listen to his show and read his blog at mikesdailypodcast.com.
Email Mike now at mikesdailypodcast@gmail.com.
See you tomorrow. Bye!